Hi, Thaddeus here to take a look at the current state of budgeting in the new mySCA. So here's a place where we got a position request that's come in. It's come from our person test partner here. Not a whole lot of information we've got. Some of the basic logistics stuff. They know they're planning on offering insurance, and in terms of the position numbers, we know they're requesting 5 people, and that's about it. So there's probably a pricing discussion that's going on. So what happens while the pricing discussion is going on is I hit edit here, and edit will take me into a view where I can look at the different pieces of the funding world, or not the funding world, sorry, the budget information. So let me fill in some of these things. Okay, so I've filled in some numbers, presumably off of a price sheet, we could say. I also can put in what I think would be our budget code regarding this, and probably some information about how this would be billed. So we'll just assume we'll bill for finance. I put in nice, round, easy numbers for us to work with here, and when I save this document here, what I end up with is what's going on here. So I can see all of the different things. So notice some of these were cost per opening. So I had technology cost per opening, and then so the total technology cost per position, and for the position as a whole, ends up being 500. So some of these are multiplied by the number of requested openings. And you'll notice that the leader salary subtotal right now is actually hanging out at 0, even though we're saying we're going to give a weekly salary of 300, and it's going to be 7% of this and 7% of that. So until I come down and fill in our leader information, and I'd say, wow, leaders, we'll give ourselves 2 leaders, and I need the leader start date, and I'm going to put this way in our past, and see what we come up with. Okay, so leader start dates, make this back in May 2nd, and I save my record here. Okay, so I can now see, we probably don't have a position start date in here, would be my guess. Hang on a second. Alright, that was the culprit, because we had a the start date was miscalculated because of the because we didn't have an actual end date for the position. So now that we have an actual end date, we can see the total number of weeks for leaders is at 47, which gives us our total of leader salary subtotal, and then leader cost as a whole subtotal that's up there. We also are going to have some cost logistics per member. I want to take a look at that in a second. And then, we haven't yet calculated things in terms of our offset percentage for the position. Let's say in this case we're going to offer a 5% offset, and I save that, and it gives me, budget before offset and admin, and this gives us our total admin and our total offset that we're given that percentage rate. So one more thing I want to talk about, which is these things called costs and logistics. And you see we've got 2 costs and logistics here. Costs and logistics will be created based on the information you have about, such as someone offering housing allowance. Let me show you about those. Okay, so I'm in a typical cost and logistics record here, which is a stipend, and notice we've got different options in terms of what gets paid to, but also in terms of the frequency, because we know that it varies sometimes. It doesn't matter for our purposes which way we choose to budget it, it will still work. So if we look at our total costs and logistics here, we can see some things are paid to the member, some are paid to the vendor, which is significant in terms of how things get rolled up here. It's also significant in terms of pay schedules for members. Okay, so at that point, I've entered all those things, and I've got a complete budget for this particular project.